We have 9-year-old Sarbartho Mani on your screen right now. He's playing for the Freedom Team at the FIDE World Team Rapid Championship 2025. One of the beautiful things about this event is that it brings together an below 2000 board with some of the best players in the world, like Vishy Anand, Rauf Mamedov, Sam Savian are playing in the same team as Sarbartho is. E4 by Sarbartho. His opponent is Stepan Zaiarski. Knight c6, and he goes for the Rui Lopez. The boy Mani has won many medals for India at many tournaments like the Commonwealth, Asian, and so on, and now he's playing here. This bishop is attacked. He wants to capture the pawn on e5, and he takes it. Knight takes e5, knight takes b3, ab, and queen g5. Now, very important move to come back to f3, so that if queen g2, there is rook g1. But it seems like he's not aware of the opening theory. Plays d4 and now lands up in a pretty bad position. The reason for that is that on an open board right now, black has the bishop pair. f5, fantastic play here by Stepan. He's putting money under big pressure. If you take this pawn, bishop d5 is trouble. So he castles here, trying to fight his way out in the situation. Stepan can take this pawn. He takes it. Rook e1 to pin the pawn here. And now knight e7 makes a lot of sense to attack the d5 pawn. Knight f6 also possible. Knight e7 is the strongest move. Sarbartho has a lot of energy in him, but right now his position is in big trouble. He goes knight f6. And the problem with this move is that now white can protect the pawn with c4 at least. Not losing immediately, but knight g5 played by Sarbartho. And what about just bishop d5? Maybe he wants to go knight c3. His position is terrible right now. He is a pawn down. Bishop goes to b4. Not very sure about this move, but I believe that he wants to provoke c3 in the position. Maybe it's not a bad idea, but I mean c3 is not going to hurt white in any way. So perhaps a better idea was to just simply take the d5 pawn with either of the pieces. Sarbartho plays knight bishop d2. Wow. Okay, now I will take here is one clear move. I can even take on d2 and then take on d5 so that the knight no longer comes to c3. He takes on d2. Knight takes. But he doesn't take on d5. He castles. And now c4 should be strong. Yes, he plays it. Good move there by Mani. Well, his first name is Sarbartho. Mani is his father's name. Knight g4, attacking the pawn on f2. Takes, knight takes e4. And d6 played. Rook e2. Now Sarbartho has a fine position. h6. And h3 played here, just kicking the knight away. And knight comes back to f6. Takes, rook takes. One of the problems black is facing is the bishop on b7 being super passive. And now rook to e7, getting the rook to the 7th rank. Rook f7 seems like the best move. Plays it. Maybe you get your rook into the game. Rook e1. And he plays rook f8, putting pressure here on the f2 pawn. Takes. Maybe you can take with the king. Yes, that's a good move. The endgame is around even. Black is the one who could be slightly better. Perhaps c6, trying to open up the position. Takes, knight d4, bishop drops back, and Sarbartho goes rook a1, attacking the a6 pawn. And he's playing quickly. He has 5 minutes on the clock. Rook c8 played. Rook takes a6, takes pawn, and now takes on d6. Now important here to play either king e7 or bishop h3. He plays bishop h3, king h2, bishop f1. Seems like a good square to go to, but instead goes c3. Very interesting move. Pawn takes pawn, rook takes, defending it this way, and b4, pushing his pawns, fighting there. The little kid is fighting. King e7 played. And now rook to g6, attacking the pawn on g7. King f7. He brings his rook to g3. You must take it. Rook g3. No, what? He goes knight f3 and now threatens knight e5, check, and rook h3. Money so quick there. Rook b4, king h3 taken. And what a blunder by his opponent. Should have taken the rook there. And he's a piece down. Check by Sarbartho. King f6. Plays another check. King goes back. And now rook d3. Check comes in. Another check. And now he can take there on... No, you cannot take on h6. King g3, smart move. h5, pushing the knight away. Still fighting there. Knight e5 and h4 check. Sarbartho plays king g2, threatening now check and picking up the pawn. Rook f5 played. He finds this beautiful move. Rook d7, king f6 check, king g6, another check, king g7. And how do you win a pawn here? He goes knight to e3. Rook comes up, and maybe this pawn push to block everything up. And now you can see these pawns don't really move ahead. If h3, you can just go king g3, not giving up your pawn. King f7 played. Sarbartho goes knight g4. King comes up to g7. Rook to d3 played. Rook a4 gives a check. Another check. King g7, and now brings his knight in, threatening rook check and winning here. King h7. And Sarbartho goes and checks the other boards. I don't know for what reason. He can just play his move. He's winning totally here. He goes rook g6, attacking the pawn on g5. And the rook flies off the board. His opponent loses on time, but anyway was losing the game. The first win for the youngster at the FIDE World Rapid Team Championship. Fighting from a tough position. That's what is expected from a player like him, who's young and talented, to keep fighting, to keep showing that he's not ready to give up. Sarbartho won his first game by a walkover. His opponent didn't come but now fair and square on the board, and this is a wonderful experience for this youngster. A big shout out to the Freedom team for selecting him. I'm sure it's going to impact his chess journey in a very deep way.